Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Christy Thompson, and I'm the marketing director here at BIS Designs. And today we're going to be talking about how to get the biggest return on investment from your website in 2018. So we just want to say thank you for joining. A few housekeeping items. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, there's a chat over here on your right. You can submit the chats and we'll get back to you throughout the presentation. You can also hold your questions to the end and we can open up everyone's mics for a Q&A session. So I wanted to go ahead and introduce Lori Jones. She is the project manager and graphic designer here at BIS Designs. A lot of you probably already know who she is or have spoken to her on the phone, but she specializes in providing websites and digital marketing services to businesses along the Gulf Coast. So she's been working in the marketing industry for over 6 years now, and she's worked with 300 plus clients from Gulfport, Mississippi to Gulf Breeze, Florida. And she also has a degree in graphic design from Faulkner. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Lori. Lori?
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. I've spent the last 5 years focused on designing websites and executing marketing plans for companies, small to medium businesses typically, specifically in our area. Oh, hey. Hello. The reason I'm doing the webinar today is because as I go out and I speak to these business owners, they're having questions for me, and I hear the same questions over and over, and almost every one of them go back to return on investment. So I wanted to kind of do this webinar to address those questions and kind of give some pointers on some things. So let's get started. This is the biggest question I get, is do you need a website in 2018? I get that because they're saying social media is so important, and I advertise on social media and I just don't see where I need a website. Or I have reviews on Google, my business, or I'm getting calls, I'm getting leads, and most of those come from word of mouth. Why do I need a website? And do I need one at all, actually, is what I usually get. The answer to that is yes, you do. So here's our question. Do you need a website? Yes. Yes, you do. The main reason for that is it's actually critical, but the main reason is you need to have a marketing plan, and it's critical to that. It's also critical because not everybody has social media. Actually, just a couple of weeks ago, I had a friend over. She's from Mobile. I live in Baldwin County. And she was doing all the planning. She had these things that she wanted to do, and I let her take the reins. And she does not actually have Facebook. So she decided we were going to go to lunch and bowling and take the kids, and that's what we were going to do for the day. It's what she wanted to do. And she ended up choosing a bowling alley that was further away. And she chose it because she doesn't have social media. She's not familiar with the area. And that too had a website. And not only that, on the website, she saw that they had a restaurant and they had additional things we could do. And that was what made her choose that particular place to go for the day. So it's more than anything, it's important today to have a website. So let's get down to the brass tacks. Let's talk money, because we want to know if it's worth our investment before all else. So here's a good example. The average revenue for a small to medium business is $3.6 million a year. But the average revenue for a small to medium business with a website is $5.03 million. So, and you can go to Vendesta and read more about those stats. But here's the kicker on that. Not all companies are going to be a $3.6 million company. We know this. However, these same growth and stats can apply to you through your website. It can work for you. And I'm going to tell you how. And the next thing we're going to talk about is the benefits of the website. But remember, it's not only the website. Your entire marketing plan applies to this. And we're going to talk more about that later. But right now, what can your website do? Your website can work for you 24/7, 365 days a year. And what I mean by that is it never takes a sick day. It never takes lunch breaks. It's never off. It is working for you all the time. Not everybody is a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 kind of person. Social media, we kind of focus on peak times, and that's when we want to advertise. And that's awesome. And that's good. That's a good temporary plan or a good portion of a plan for marketing. But what about those people that work nights? What about those people that are up in the middle of the night with babies and they're scrolling on their phone? All of those people also are leads for us. And your website is where they can get that information when they can't call. And they, and they can send us questions via our website. But it works 24/7. You don't have to be in the office to capture leads. Also, imagine having an employee that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and how much that would benefit your company if you could have an employee like that. Well, that's what your website is. So, speaking of having an employee working 24 hours a day, imagine the money you save just by generating leads without overhead. So let's talk about that for a minute. An employee that you want to pay $9 an hour, their job is to do cold calls, do marketing, put out leads, get leads, get people in the door. That's their job. You hire one person to do that 40 hours a week. You're paying them $9 an hour. Realistically, once you match taxes and you do all that bookkeeping stuff that we know we have to do, you're paying them about $14 an hour. So in 52 weeks of the year, that employee, not even including liabilities and overhead like power and office space, is costing you $29,120 that year to generate leads for your company, be it a salesperson or whoever. Salesperson, you're also usually paying commission as well. So that's just one employee. The average cost of a website to do the hosting only, this is just your monthly fees, is about $600 a year. So we've now reduced $29,000 to $600. Plus, of course, the cost to build, but that's a one-time upfront cost. So once you get past the build, which also is not even near $29,000, you are generating leads for such a small overhead. That's how it saves you money. That's just one of the ways. Imagine all of the other monies that you spend on marketing. If you focus the majority of that on your marketing plan that has the center as your website, you actually can reduce the number of marketing ads that you need and the number of things that you need to do outside of your website, thus also reducing the marketing cost for that year. So the next thing I want to talk about is how your website increases target audience. You put a sign out by your building. You have business cards that you leave. For the most part, your audience starts at your location and moves out if you have brick and mortar. Well, when your website is laid out correctly and it's working correctly for you, it reaches masses. You remember any of you guys that were back in the day that took out ads in the newspaper and ads in magazines, and you had to choose which magazine was going to reach the most people and what ad am I going to put in there, and you had to choose all this stuff. Or to reach masses, you had to go TV or radio. Those are very costly, even today still, but back in the day especially. So you take all of that and think, how is the best way to reach people? Because that's expensive. Well, today, Google has 40,000 searches a second, every day. That is 3.5 billion searches go through Google a day. Where else can you reach that kind of people? I mean, that's massive. Imagine if you live in an area, like your target area is 5,000 people. It's going to be way bigger than that, but imagine it's 5,000 people. And all but 2% of them Google something every day. There's your audience. That's where you reach them, because 95 to 99% of people are on the internet searching when they want information, when they're looking for service, when they're needing something. So,
hey, Lori, I wanted to step in too with this because, you're really onto something with the increasing target audience. One thing we've noticed that, being in Baldwin County and on the Gulf Coast, a lot of our target audience isn't just the people in the area. A lot of them are tourists. So,
exactly.
you can have Facebook, you can have all of that. That's great. But what your website does is it reaches out to people who are planning their trip to Gulf Shores, who are going to Biloxi. It allows them to do some research in the forefront, and it allows you to reach a larger audience at that point in time.
Exactly. I was going to get there. Thank you, Christy. Just in, especially when you are, like Christy said, hospitality. Hospitality is huge. Services that, like AC repair service, for instance, it is going to be critical in your area, but you're still reaching an increased target audience by having a website, even if it's in your area. But just imagine if it were, like Christy mentioned, something where you needed to target all these states, not just your area. So it actually is very important to increase your leads and increase your revenue and your bottom line to have a website. So let's move to the next thing I want to discuss, and that is it provides credibility. Imagine for a moment that you have somebody that you need custom cabinets built, for instance, and you're looking for somebody, and they only have a Facebook, they don't have a portfolio, you don't know how long they've been in business, you're not going to choose that person. That's just one aspect of credibility. But where else can you go to express about your company to someone, your certifications, your safety awards, why they need to choose you? They need to choose you because I have all of this history and all of this work that I can show you, and I have safety, and I've won awards, and I've been in business for this many years. Look at all these reviews I have. You can't do that with social media. They come into your brick and mortar, you can have it on the wall, but to really convey it, you could put that on the front end of your website, and immediately they're like, oh, wow. So it's credibility, but it's also, in today's day and age, even beyond all of that, if you don't have a website, people are going to pass you by, because a website means that you are a serious business, that you are valid in your field. And it just really gives you the ability to concrete that by having a platform in which to put awards, accreditations, certificates, reviews. So it's very vital for any business today to have a website for no other reason, provide credibility, and make you a contender in your field to all potential clients and leads. So,
Hey,
and
Lauren,
Christy and
I'm
I
so
were,
sorry to interrupt. I was going to just touch base on that really fast. I just got back from Destin. And so my husband and I were looking for restaurants to go to. And you wouldn't really think, oh, well, they have to have a restaurant. Well, we decided not to. There were some restaurants out there that if they didn't have good reviews, if they only had like 10 reviews, or if they didn't have a menu, we didn't end up going. So it was extremely important that we saw the credibility that they were a real place, that they were a popular place, that they had a website, that they had 600 reviews at a 4-star, and that they had their menu there. So for other businesses, you could be losing out on customers if you are not providing all the right information, if you're not providing credibility, if you don't have testimonials on your site, if you're not getting reviews, if you don't have important information like menus or things about your services. So sorry, Lori, just wanted to touch base on that since it was so relevant to my trip this past weekend.
actually, I was just saying that Christy and I were talking earlier about her trip to Destin. That's exactly what I was about to say. Thank you. We actually just discussed this, and we discussed this topic not only amongst ourselves, but with customers and clients all the time. That's why we chose to do the webinar on this specific, on these things, because it is just so relevant in marketing. So moving on, I'm going to now talk about credibility, and all those things I just mentioned can sway the buyer. And what that means is if they don't know who they're going to go with and they're not looking for somebody specific, and like I said, you have somebody, you need custom cabinets, and you don't know who to go with, and you land on this page and they have a dynamic portfolio and they have all these reviews, and they have not only do they have all these things I've already mentioned, but they have a phone number and a contact form and free quote, push now for a free quote. It's easy to reach them. It's easy to make that decision because they make it so easy for you on their website. And as a business owner, you want to funnel them to whatever call to action that you have. Now, that goes a lot into design, and we're going to touch on that on a couple of seminars. A couple of webinars coming up. Probably the one in August is when we're going to talk about that in a little more. And but what it does is it gives you the opportunity to sway them from your competitor to you by using all these things we just talked about, and having an easy to use, mobile friendly website that is a no-brainer. They get on there, they're like, oh, that's pretty, oh yes, oh, they've been in business. Okay, yeah, there's my button. I'm going to call for a free quote and see if they'll come out and just give me a number. So now you've captured them just with your website. So that's vital. And going from a visitor to your site to a client, that's your goal for your website. That is its job. We'll talk more about specific jobs for your website later, but in actuality, getting them where you want them to be is your website's job. So now, we just discussed credentials and all of these things that we can put on our website, but we can also use it for a resource for our employees. What I mean by that is you have a salesperson and they have a client there that hasn't really made their mind up. Well, let me think about it. They can say, well, go to our website and read more about this product because I think you'll find it interesting. That helps your sale. It captures your sale. When they land, they're seeing your credentials. They're seeing all these things that the salesman can't really say. Like, I mean, you could walk in, the client could walk in and, oh yeah, just so you know, we have a safety award and we've been in business X amount of time. You're not going to do that. You want to welcome them and have it in a certain way, but your website can. And so when they send somebody to the website for more information, for instance, you have that ability to put that stuff in front of their face that you can't say in person. That's one way that it provides resources to staff. And another way is that you have the ability to integrate your schedule system, to update your products on there. You can put policies and procedures for your employees. You can integrate it even with your clock in and clock out. They can go to the website to clock in and clock out, and multiple different things you can do. HR can use it for things like insurance forms and new hire forms, request for vacation, any of those things. And we use it personally. We use our website for Employee of the Month, for voting for Employee of the Month. We do fundraisers and have in our office, we can go and donate to whatever fundraiser we're doing, landing pages for different things. We use ours, personally, we use ours for internal as well. So this is a great source, and it saves your staff, such as HR, time. Because if they can say, go to the website, to the employee page, and download that's where you'll change your W-4 type of thing. So it really goes back to saving money, return on investment, because it's dual purpose at that moment. So the last thing I want to talk about before we change the subject is leveling the playing field. So there's multiple ways, and I could go really deep into this, but I'm just going to touch on a couple of things. Multiple ways that you can level the playing field with your website. A website that actually does its job can make your company more competitive. Say, for instance, you have two companies. One of them is yours, and it's new, and it's 5 years old, and you have a company down the road that does the same thing, just about, and they've been in business for 25 years. They feel like their word of mouth is benefit. That's how we get our sales, is word of mouth. You're on the cutting edge. You have a website that's dynamic, and you're competitive because that 27, 30-year-old that go to Google, and they weren't around 25 years ago, buying a house, for instance, those kind of things come into play. You have the millennials, you have the new 30-year-olds that they search. They don't necessarily go by word of mouth. You have your website out there and it's working, it's doing its job. You actually can be the one they choose over that competitor of 25 years. And they will drive past that competitor of 25 years to your location because what they read on the internet built their trust in you. They will bypass your competitor. That is how you become competitive with a website. And it can absolutely do that for you. So also, we can, it doesn't confine you to your location. So that makes you more competitive. So like I was talking a while ago, your general area around you is 5,000 people. Well, if somebody goes on your website and you're exactly what they need, everything they need is on there, they will drive, like I said, past the other location, which is closer to your location because they've decided on you. So it breaks those barriers in location. So it also gives you the opportunity to outshine your competition by displaying your work in a portfolio. You guys may do kind of the same thing, but if you can't show your professional work because you don't have a portfolio or because you don't have a website, that gives your competitor the edge. And we don't like giving our competitors the edge. It adds value to your company. We can go back to the credibility. It gives you credibility, adds up. So, and your competitor's going to have a website. Just like everything else in marketing, it needs to work better. It needs to be better. You need to have it do what it needs to do in order to beat them. And you can absolutely do that with a website. So now, we talked about your website doing its job. So let's talk a little more about what's your website's job. So just like an employee, your website has a job to do. And I mentioned a marketing plan earlier. It's the key player in your marketing plan. It's the big boy. It's the center of everything. And you can have a great website, it looks pretty, it looks good, but if it's not doing what it should, it is not going to do its job in that marketing plan. So, like I said about the employee, your website works 24/7 with no off days. But what is it doing exactly for your business to increase your return on investment? Well, there's a couple of things that your website can do, a couple of jobs it can do. The first one, let's talk about lead generating. This is going to be most companies, but not all. So I have a couple of different ones, but today we're going to talk about lead generating first. Take this website that we're looking at. The goal of this website is to entice you to come and sit into the restaurant, okay? This restaurant has the food right there. It has the phone number. It has the menu and location. Purposely, it doesn't have the address because they're enticing you to scroll down to find the address. What you don't see here is below this are their daily specials and their events calendar. So what we're doing is we're leading them where we want them to go through the website, but we give them what they need immediately as well. So I don't know about you, but that food looks really good to me. And I would want to, oh, that looks good, I want to read more. That's this website's job. So this is a lead generating. Now, there are multiple different ways to go about making your lead generating website work for you. It's all about your call to action, the layout of your website, the design of your website. We're going to get more into that on our next webinar. But today, let's just talk about its job. Its job is to get people in chairs in that restaurant. So that's one type of website. Now, this is an e-commerce website. Everybody has been on Amazon or eBay or some kind of cart online. That is what this website's job is. It's to sell them for you, to sell everything for you. So then there's also informational websites. This one's job is to inform people and educate people. That doesn't mean it can't be lead generating. You can have an educational website and it still be lead generating. Remember the 40,000 people per second that search on Google? Well, they're finding somebody's website. They need to be finding yours. So this one specifically is just informational. Now we have payment portal. This one is a multi-job website. It's an example of multi-job. So we have our online payments. We have voter registration information. On this website, they also have revenue driving, which is events and fundraisers that's listed under Living in Brewton. Your business license, that's revenue for the county and the city. All of those things are right on this page. It has multi-jobs. There's where you go. That's ease of access for all of your customers. Anytime you can make things easier for your customers and they don't have to pick up the phone or email to finish a transaction, it's always beneficial. They will spend time on your website. So that brings us to the marketing plan. So your website has a job in your marketing plan. Do you currently have a marketing plan? So what you need to know about the marketing plan is you need to know there are a couple of options you have, and you need to know more than anything, to get where you want to go, you've got to have a plan. And it's got to be executable, and you got to set goals. But your website is only part of that plan. It's only part of the puzzle. There's so many more things that are involved, and what you need to think about is your marketing plan and how am I going to go about it? Well, there's 3 things you can do. You can stay where you're at and not do a marketing plan at all. You can do it yourself and try to learn and execute the things that I'm talking about and the things I'm going to go more in detail about in other webinars. You can do those and try to execute those yourself and take the time to learn it. You can enlist an expert to do it for you. And what we're doing today is we're going to give each of you guys a free website review, and we're going to tell you where your website stands. We're going to help you devise a marketing plan and even help you execute it. This usually is $199, and we're going to give it to you for free today. We're going to take a look at your website. We're going to evaluate if it's doing your job, if it's doing its job for your company, and we're going to give you advice on how to make it better. So that's not all you're getting today, though. The evaluation includes your entire digital marketing presence. So that includes social media, search engine rankings, and mobile layout, among other things. So I am going to advise everybody does this because you need to know where you stand. You can't know where you're going if you don't know where you're at. So you need to know where you stand on social media, and we're happy to do that for you for free. And we're doing this, we're doing this for free for all the attendees and anybody that wants peace of mind and wants a clear path on how to get more revenue and return on investment from their marketing. Christy?
Yeah. Okay, guys. So this digital marketing review is so crucial to marketing. It lets you know kind of what your website's looking like now. What we'll do is have 2 of our experts, in-house experts, our web development and designer. That would be Lori Jones and Donald Johansson. We'll take a look at your website to see what could be improved so that you're really funneling those leads down your homepage and getting those form fills, getting the phone calls, providing all the information needed. So this is going to end on 7/31 because we're actually doing another webinar in August. We're going to have a series of webinars throughout the end of 2018. And so this offer is going to end 7/31. And the way that you can ask for this is to send it to events@askbis.com. So just let us know, send us your website domain, the URL, and let us know what your website is. We'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at your social media, marketing, your SEO, see how you're ranking. We'll also look at your online review score, which is another webinar we did a few months ago. If you go to our website, you can view the reputation management as well. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions. I'm going to unmute y'all, so if you don't want to be muted, just mute yourself back. But anybody have any questions right now? Okay, well, we did have some come in. Lori, here's one of the questions for you. If they have a service website, what are your recommendations on what they need on the homepage?
Oh, this is something we're going to cover later, but you need to make sure that they know who you are, what you do. You need a value. You need to put a value on your service. Offer them something that stands out from your competitors. A free service call, a coupon for an evaluation of maybe your AC unit. Whatever you provide, you need to make sure that you have something right when they land that makes you stand out from your competitor. That's crucial.
Okay, the other question we had come in was about, hold on, let me pull it up real fast, excuse me. It was about the, let's see what it said. The website page, let's see here. Sorry, I've lost this question that came in. Okay. Let's see. Yes, okay. Can you make it password protected for employees? I believe
Absolutely.
it was like a medical
Absolutely.
practice and they wanted like their doctors to be able to find information. So could you make that page password protected so that way patients couldn't see it?
Absolutely. We are currently, actually the website that I showed, City of Bruton, has a login for the policemen that have all of their certain codes and different things that are there, so that when they update them, they're at their fingertips while they're out and about, and they all log in. Absolutely. Anything, even a section of your website can be password protected, where you click on a button and it says you have to have a password to get in. So we can do the entire site all the way down to one page. Anything that needs to be password protected, we absolutely can do that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, that was all the questions we had come in today. So guys, just make sure to send an email to events@askbis.com if you're interested in that website review, and we can kind of let you know what you can correct on your website, how you can get more leads. So Lori?
Hey, well, thank you, everyone. And you can reach us here at BIS Designs at any time, 251-405-2535. And please be sure and come to the next webinar. We're going to dive deeper into layout and making your website do what you need it to do. Functionality, layout, we're going to go deeper into all of that stuff and give you some really good pointers. So feel free to join us next time and tell other people to join us as well. Very good information coming up.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.